I was muted. Y'all had me. Welcome to the Eternal Sith live streams. I almost said network because I'm just so used to being on my other channel. Um, just yeah, my mind is all over the place right now. But welcome here, guys. We have so much to talk about. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so welcome to the channel, guys. Like I said, so much to talk about. We're gonna have some awesome. Obviously, we have the Galactic Senate tonight. We have some returnings. Today we're gonna have Darth Vader 23, and we are going to have M Kenobi should be hopping on pretty soon. And then we might have another special guest, so stay tuned for that. But lots to talk about today in Star Wars. I do want to talk about my other channel before we do start. So today I put a video out on the Eternal Sith on the Eternal Sith network. I'm still trying to get used to having two channels. Bear with me. Um, did a video there today, so go check that out if you haven't. Give it a thumbs up as you're watching that video, and then give this one a thumbs up too, guys. Again, our goal is to get to 1,000 for the we just did this channel about a month ago, so the goal is to get it to 1,000 in a year. And if not, it's okay. We're still having fun with this channel because we're just that's what we're doing. We just come here to have fun and talk Star Wars, all our favorite stuff that we love to kind of bullshit about. And here it could be uncensored. We just are having fun in a sense of, whatever. But again, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We have a lot of heavy topics that we're gonna talk about that I feel like we have to talk about because this past week has been a lot of Star Wars news. And like it says there, welcome to the new channel. Welcome, welcome. A lot of things that I want to personally talk about um, is you know is Dave Filoni, right? We know that he's put out some good stuff. No, sorry guys, I'm letting people know that we're live now. I gotta let them know. Talking about Dave Filoni and everything, just a little snippet. We know that he talked to Entertainment Weekly this week, and I think that it's cool to see all the things that they have planned upcoming. I think I'm excited for it. I'm gonna pull it up in just a few seconds, but we're gonna talk about Dave Filoni. We're gonna talk about some John Favreau, and I'll just show you guys here a little bit of what I have upcoming here. So I'll put like the little banners so you see there the little thing. So we're gonna talk about Bad Batch. That has to get talked about because there's just too much going on with that series, and I don't know, it's not looking so hot right now. We're gonna talk about John Favreau, like I said, talks about the future of Star Wars. John Boyega possibly done. I don't know, and obviously more Star Wars news as you see there, some interesting characters and faces that we've grown to know and love. So there you go. Remember, hit that like and subscribe. That see, I'm like, hit that like and subscribe and that notification. Most of you are always in the know on the Eternal Sith Network, where you get all your Star Wars news every day. Here we just kind of do live streams every Wednesday, and I'll put a little short out every now and then. But that's kind of like the welcome to this channel. Um, but as you're watching, like I said, I really appreciate you guys hopping on. Again, so much to dive into. We're gonna just kind of dive in a little bit. Like I said, there's things that I want to personally talk about. Um, Give me just 1 second because I definitely want to pull up, and we're gonna go kind of like in order. Well, this one we could kind of just talk about the Bad Batch. As I showed you, that was the first thing that I wanted to talk about, and that getting delayed. And personally, me, I kind of knew this was going to happen. I had an idea and I had a feeling because if you think about it, right, you had Andor coming. Well, first, Andor was supposed to come out August 26th, which is thinking like what, 2 days? Oh, yeah, 2 days. Wow, I was right. It's supposed to happen this upcoming Friday. And ends up being that it's a no show. Now it's September 21st. So a whole basically month, literally, not a month, but basically a month. And that's kind of a little concerning for Star Wars shows because the Bad Batch is getting put to the back burner. And that's a little worrisome because if you think about it, we were supposed to have the Bad Batch actually come out in September. So we were going to have two shows. Well, at least from what we know, we are going to have two shows. And now it looks like we're only going to get one, and it looks like the Bad Batch is gonna be slated. We don't know when. It was supposed to happen this year. Maybe it's still gonna happen this year. We don't know. I mean, for all we know that this ends November, if I'm not mistaken, 23rd, and it could be that maybe they give an announcement as soon as Andor is done, and they might say, "Hey, guess what? Bad Batch is coming out sometime in December, maybe like the 14th or the 15th or something around that time." That'd be crazy if I just got that date right. Um, but I'm just curious because it's like First was Kenobi. Well, let's talk about the beginning of everything, right? We know when COVID happened, everything got pushed back because Kenobi was supposed to happen 2021, if I'm not mistaken, and then Ahsoka was supposed to happen this year. And now we obviously know we just got Kenobi this year. And a lot of shows got pushed back, even the Lando series, the Acolyte, everything suffered because of COVID. And now it looks like that all the shows that they've come out with have been pushed back, whether it's because I don't know, Netflix has Stranger Things or some other company has something else coming. I don't know. I mean, that's what's been kind of like rumored, but I just can't see like again, it shouldn't really matter. Like if you have your Star Wars Day One fans, like just put it out, like get it out already. Like we want a series. Like Marvel always has something. Like we need something, and I think that that's important is to know your fans and understand that you need to put stuff out because in time it's gonna get kind of played out and it's gonna get old. And it's like, how many times are you gonna sit there and kind of delay a lot of these shows? I don't know. I don't know. And that's kind of like the scary part. But the Bad Batch, let's talk about it, right? I mean, I don't know. Do I really want it to be delayed? Do I not? Again, I mean, we know that was the other show that was supposed to come out too. Visions. Like, what happened with Visions? Are we still getting that? Visions we can get just because of the simple fact it has nothing to do with anything canon, unless they're gonna like kind of show us something. And then like Tales too, like Tales of the Jedi is supposed to happen too. So it's like all these shows are getting delayed every time. And it's like, why are we getting so many delays? What's going on? Like, do you not have a plan? It's already like it sucks enough that we got all the shows delayed already from due to COVID. But I mean, it seems that Tales of the Jedi is already done. It seems that Visions, I'm assuming, is done because they said that that was supposed to happen this year. So I'm just curious what's going on with the Bad Batch because that was supposed to happen this year too, and that was on the cards for this year. But they just keep kind of like messing with the days, and it's a little like I said, like I said before, it's a little concerning. And I mean, I want the Bad Batch season two for many things. I think that we've seen it. We got to see a little bit of the trailer. We got to see we get to see Commander Cody. I mean, I think that we need to dive in and see what's going on with him and his inhibitor chip. Is he helping them? Or are the Bad Batch helping him? Like, what's going on there? Did it run its course? What's going on with Gunji? That's another thing. I want to see what Palpatine has to do with this, and does he see Omega? What does Omega hold value over, or why is she there? When we see Palpatine, I want to learn more about that. I mean, there's so much that the show has to offer. I feel like in season two, I feel like season one is kind of like the Clone Wars. It has like its build up, and then now we're gonna like really like kind of like hit hard, and that's what I'm hoping for season two. Now, the one thing that I didn't really like, what I saw was a little bit was Sid. I really hope we're not doing all these like, kind of like side missions. I think we need to shy away from that. I think it's cool, like if she's the person that knows all these people and like says, "Hey, you gotta help so and so, so and so," and like that's cool. But like, I think at this point they need to kind of just do their own thing. And if they're gonna be a part of the rebellion or something, just do your own thing. Like you don't need to sit there and go and do side missions. Like you don't even need Sid at this point. Like Sid is to me irrelevant. I didn't even care for her character, even in the first season. I think that season one was a lot of missed opportunities for myself, at least. I really didn't enjoy it. I thought seeing Cad Bane, obviously Fennec was pretty cool, was really really cool seeing her character in there. But I think they need to shy away from that. I think they need to tell other stories. There's so much going on post Order 66. We're gonna see an older Omega, like I spoke about before, and I think that that's very important too. Maybe they do like a little time jump, maybe like 2 years or something. I don't know. Like, I don't want to see it be literally like 6 months later. I want to see some time. I want it to be that we're at least a year or two out from Order 66, and they see some characters that we haven't seen. That maybe we'll get some nice cameos in there. I don't know. I mean, like, who are you guys expecting? And put it in the comment section. By the way, welcome to the channel. If you just tuned in, you guys already know who your boy is, the Eternal Sith, Dark Eternal. Um, but yeah, I mean, do you want to see more Omega in the Bad Batch? Like, what is it that you guys want to see? I'm really curious to learn because for me, like I said, I think that I want to see just more missions. Like, I don't mind side missions, but I think it needs to tell a story. Like for season one, it wasn't really like a story. It was just kind of more like, all right, we're doing this, this, and that, and that's what it's gonna be. And I don't want that. Like, I want to see some characters. Like, I think seeing Gunji is pretty cool. Like I want to learn, I want to see what he like what he's accomplished since then. Like I think that that's really important to see is what Gunji is doing at that time and how the Bad Batch come and help him. I mean, that is one that I'm really curious to see. Hey, we got our other fam over here. What's going on? And she opens up her juice bottle. All right, juice bottle.
Hey.
What's going on? How's everything?
Literally just got back from the store. I like ran into the house.
All right, Flash. All right, see you, Lady Flash. I'm gonna call you Lady Flash. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. How's your day going so far? Happy, girl. You just drank water and then you just drank juice. Like, yo, which one is it?
It's my Starbucks lemonade, first of all.
Oh, excuse me, miss. I need to have my Starbucks. My
I
bad.
do. I do. I know. That's like my one basic girl thing is Starbucks. That's it.
Gotcha. Hey, listen, everybody needs a little bit of Starbucks in their life. I feel like. Yeah. No. How's everything with you though?
It's good. It's been chill.
Yeah. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah. No. Just here. Just obviously we started it up already because some people are running late. Is no. I'm kidding. You're good. You're good. You're never late, so I give it to you. You're good. You're good.
Hey, Dupree's late.
He is. He is. Jasmine's supposed to hop on in a little bit. She said she'll probably hop on in an hour, so she's just waiting for some stuff to settle in. So she will see her in a little bit, depending how long we go. So I mean, we usually say we'll go this time, and then we end up going like this time. So we'll see how it goes down with the conversations. But lot to talk about. And I'm sure you heard about it. The Bad Batch, as you see, they're delayed. Looks like it's getting delayed. How do you feel about that? I mean, it wasn't really put out, but it's kind of just like assumed from everything that like with Andor getting pushed back. I mean, how do you feel overall if it does get delayed?
I mean, I already saw that coming. Like as soon as they announced the Andor thing, I was like, okay, Bad Batch is getting pushed back. And I even thought Tales of the Jedi was going to get pushed back too. But it looks like I think that maybe they're deciding to just stick with one animated show in the fall, which honestly might be better for them because I kind of felt like they were trying to do too much in fall. It was like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So I think it lets Bad Batch shine more if it just gets like early spring all to itself. So I'm fine with it, but I'm also not a hardcore Bad Batch fan. So I know like the fans are pissed of that show. Like they're mad.
I would say it's more the clone like cosplay community would be more upset about that. Like the clone, like if you love clones, like I'm a stormtrooper head, I'm old school, so like I'm not really a clone person. So, but like if you love your clones, like yeah, you're pretty pissed about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Stan Twitter, like they do accounts like just for Hunter or like just for Crosshair and stuff. Like they'll say that's like their character. So I know they're mad about this because they don't even have a trailer. They've been waiting since like Celebration for a trailer for the show. So I do feel bad for them a little bit.
There's a trailer out. It got put out.
Well, yeah, finally. But it like took a long time,
Yeah. Yeah,
they just kind of like snuck it in.
I'm with you, girl. I mean, I wasn't, I was talking about it before you hopped on. I wasn't really like a crazy fan for the first season. I feel like the first season kind of was a letdown, which I kind of had a feeling. Because to be honest, I don't know. Like, let me ask you this. Like, this is how I felt about them. Clone Force 99, right? When we first got introduced in the Clone Wars, I just felt like they're really good characters as like cameos. Like they're great featured characters. Like I feel like when we saw them in the Clone Wars, they were like they fit in so perfect. But like to have a story on them, I just felt like it was like another opportunity like by the Lucasfilm wasted. Did you feel like that? Like, do you feel like there could have been something different? Because if you think about it, I'll just add a little more to it to prove a point. I just feel like we already got the story of a clone already, and I think that they needed to do something else, like kind of like Tales of the Jedi, where you just kind of talk about everything. But go ahead, the floor is yours.
Well, what's the story of the clone that you're referring to? That you're saying we already got?
Well, I'm just saying overall, we know the story of the clones overall, like the clone, like just overall. We know their everyday life. We know what they did with Anakin, with Kenobi, Ahsoka. Like we know how they live. But my point is that, and we know what they do and what they could bring to the table. I just personally, I guess my thing is like, I already know, like the Bad Batch is just basic. Clone Force 99 is obviously like a defective crew, right? They're just a badass version of like Captain Rex, Commander. Like that's what they are. They're a bad batch, but they're badass as well. But I just feel like for me, they didn't need a standalone. They didn't need a series because I just feel like the whole clone route has already been done. And I just feel like they needed to do something different. But elaborate. I don't know. Maybe you feel different.
I feel differently because I thought, like, we know what they've told us about the clones, but I thought there were stories there that we didn't know. And their first introduction, I'll be honest, I was like, okay, who is this Rambo looking character? Like, what are they doing with this? And then when we got to know him more, I was like, okay, these guys, I'm assuming when Order 66 happens, like, these would be the guys to deflect from that. And that was before like they ever said they were going to get a show and all that. So when the trailer dropped, I thought the whole season 1 was going to be them in the Empire. And for the first half, like, they're sticking with it, you know, they're not deflecting or anything. And then I thought the second half would be them waking up, getting their chips removed and all of that. So I was really disappointed when in episode 1, Hunter is already like, oh, this is wrong, like, we need to leave, you know, and already trying to save Kanan and all of that. Like, I wanted it to go on a lot more, like them thinking, oh, okay, I guess this is like our new daily life. You know, I wanted them to be with Vader more and all of that. And then maybe, I don't know, like 4 episodes in, maybe then they could meet Omega and then realize like, oh, this is wrong. We need to get out of here. And then I thought Vader would be sending people to like go hunt them down and say, no, like, we got to take them out. Right. So I was just sad with the route they took because I think it could have been a really cool show. But I feel like, I don't know. I mean, the trailer, I felt like just baited us so much with showing more of the Empire.
It was literally the first episode. That's literally what it was. Just the first
and then,
episode. It was so good.
Yeah. And then they tried to tie it back with like the end, like going to Camino and all of that. But I was like, no. Like, and then that little teaser at the very end, I was like, no, that's not enough. Like, I wanted the whole thing to be about that, not like Rebels-esque, like going on side missions each episode and all of that, you know?
I'll be honest, I didn't mind the side missions. I just didn't like that they had to report to Sid every second. And Sid was like their go-to. Like, I'm hoping like in this season, they shy away from her. Like, I don't mind the side missions. Just like let it be like something where you're doing a mission and then it leads into like other things. Like, for example, we got teased in season 2. We're gonna get Commander Cody. Like, I'm excited to see how that's gonna play out. Like, how they're helping him. Is he against them? Like, what's gonna happen?
Well, I think that's gonna be season 2. I think Rex is gonna find them and tell them, I need your help to go get Cody back. And then they're gonna leave Sid, and then it's just gonna be like them trying to help other clones. Like, who is
what's up? My bad. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
Good. Thank you so much for hopping on. This is
having me.
Star Wars Insider, another YouTuber over here.
How's it going, Em?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
But yeah, so we're just talking Bad Batch, bro. Honestly, my bad. Continue.
Who was the clone in season 1 that like he gave that whole speech to the rest of his brothers saying like, put down your weapons, we don't need to do this, and they ended up taking him captive and we didn't know what happened to him. I thought they were going to go back for him and like help him as well, because in the season 2, doesn't Hunter say like, we can make a difference by like helping others? So I thought maybe season 2 would be them like trying to find other clones, remove their chips, and you know, all of that, and Rex might be helping them as well, but I don't know.
Could be, yeah. Honestly, girl, I'm not gonna lie to you. You lost me with the name because I could barely remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, sometimes you like, I'm like, I could barely remember, especially like we're talking about 7 seasons of the Clone Wars or whichever. And like, I'm sorry, I can't. Like, every time somebody asks me, do you remember this episode? I'll be like, honestly, to God, no, I really don't. Like, and it's so funny because you'll see people on a live stream be like, yeah, I remember every episode. And I'm like, really? Like, wow, you really did your homework. Because I'll be honest, I don't remember shit. Like,
that's me though. Like, I don't know. I just remember stuff like that all the time.
I remember characters, but I won't remember names. Like, I can't remember shit. Like, I have to go back. Like, there's times like I'll be on a live stream like, oh, it was this person, but then I get off the live stream and I'm like, oh, that's who I meant. Like, I'm like, oh fuck, like I totally forgot. But yeah, I mean, I think overall, like, let me ask you, Star Wars Insider, what do you think about, you know, season 2? Like, okay, first off, what do you think about the Bad Batch being delayed? How do you feel about that? Like, did you see it coming or?
Yeah, I kind of saw it coming. I mean, we always have these delays or some sort of issues with shows, especially movies nowadays. I mean, it's kind of to be expected now. I mean, unfortunately, right?
Right.
But seeing the trailer at Celebration, it gave me more hype because like just seeing what was in that trailer, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, now they're stepping up to another level. And
Yeah.
yeah, it got us more hype, but of course it's delayed and that hype is dwindling down ever more. So they're just killing the vibe right now.
It is, man, and it's like what you said, like that trailer that we got a Celebration from like for the Bad Batch. It looks dope. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I keep watching. Like, I did a video on it. I was talking about it, and like you look at the images, it's so funny because yeah, I mean, you being a YouTuber, you know how it is when you like slow down like clips. You start seeing things that you didn't notice, like because
Oh yeah.
it happens so fast, and I'm like looking
It
at
does.
it, and I'm like this has like so much freaking potential. And I'm like, bro, like I see like again, like Cody, I see like little things, like even like with Omega and Palpatine, like I want to see like, does Palpatine like see her? Like, does he like sense something? Like that's one of the things, like that's another curiosity I have with it, because they're in the same place at the same time. Now, does Palpatine see the Bad Batch or just Omega? Like it's just so much for that, like season 2. I'm so like, from the trailer, what most hypes you? Like, what are you most excited to see and learn more about? I have
100% Cody. 100% Cody.
Okay, Cody.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Em?
Same. Cody and Rex.
Oh, yo, y'all are forgetting the most important person. Come on, Gunji, man.
Like, okay, I'm with you on the Gunji, but like Cody's like there with my heart, man. Like, just
No, I know.
Star Wars coming out, Clone Wars 2008, man. Like,
Because
I
we've
was there
all
for
wanted
it.
to know. We're like, is he gonna think about Obi-Wan because he still thinks Obi-Wan's dead? Is Rex gonna, tell him like, why would you do this? Like, how could you do this to us? I don't know. I want to see an emotional reunion between them. I want Cody to say, I'm so sorry. Like, I had no idea, all of that.
Right. That inhibitor chip is gone. That's it. It's done. It's wore off. So I wonder, does he sit there and like, I guess, do you think that the Bad Batch come and like they help him? What do you think? How do you think this story plays out? I'll throw it to you, Insider. What do you think? How does this play out with the Bad Batch and Cody?
I mean, how I would like to see it play out is Cody starts off on the bad side, because like if he's like, the antagonists and the Bad Batch are doing their own thing and he's trying to spoil everything, but eventually they try to win him over to their side and then he switches sides on the Empire. I mean, that's how I would like to see it, because I think having those two dynamics would be really cool, because you can show off a lot of Cody's skill working for the Empire and then he just turns around and be like, psych.
Yeah,
So
it could
I
be.
think that would be an awesome way for them to write the story, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think, Em?
I mean, I agree. I don't know how they could even do it without him starting off as the antagonist, like that just makes sense. And I think that it was like how I was saying earlier, I think Rex will go to Hunter and say, I need your help. Like, I'm not leaving him behind either. Cause that was his whole thing with Echo as well. He's like, I'm not leaving my brother behind. And Anakin was even telling him, you need to be prepared if he's dead when we get there. And Rex is saying, no, like we're going to rescue him. And I think he'll have that same mindset for Cody. And the Bad Batch might even like tell Rex, I don't know, like he's in with the Empire, he's in deep. So I don't know. I want to see that dynamic. And then what happens with Cody after that, if they try to recruit him or if Rex, is going to try to rehabilitate him again. I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest curiosities as well. I wonder how that's going to play out, because they did say that we're going to have, if I'm not mistaken, they did say we're going to have a lot more of Rex in this season. So I wonder how that's going to kind of integrate with the two. I mean, overall, there's a lot of stories I feel like in this season. Like I said, I just don't want to see more Sid. Do you want to see more Sid, Insider?
I mean, it was a cool idea, but honestly, I got really tired of it, and it just felt like a video game going through side missions. So I'm pretty good with not seeing Sid.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Em before. I don't mind that they do like 1 or 2 side missions that leads into something bigger. Like, I'm cool with that it leads into, like, I don't know, maybe they see Hera again or something. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken too, we might see Hera. Was that talked about? I feel like I heard that or something at one point.
Yeah, I think there was rumors about it, but I don't think it's 100%.
Right. So I'm for this. Look, have a bunch of cameos. That's fine. That's cool. That's what we want anyway. And we're going to see it because, again, that's what they do. Right. But make it just make sense. I just can't see them going back. Like, go back to Ord Mantell one more time, be done with it. And I don't know, let them do something else. But my biggest curiosity is how the hell they run into Gunji and how he's still alive. That's my biggest curiosity. And what do you think about that, Em?
I have no idea, because I mean, when in the trailer, like he ignites the saber, right? So I'm thinking like, okay, what situation? Like, are they already with him when he ignites his saber? Like he's trying to defend them, or I mean, I just don't know how they would meet up, or I mean, because I'm assuming so he survives Order 66, right? But was he in the temple? Like, is that going to be the Grogu connection? Like it was Gunji the whole time that saved Grogu? Like, you know, I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know if like Rex and him would have met up, and then because we don't really know a lot about what Rex was doing after he splits from Ahsoka. Like, do you think he was trying to help like pull a Quinlan boss and try to help other Force sensitives like get out of the Empire? Because I mean, maybe he found Gunji, and so that's how he meets them. And also, I wonder how much he's going to play into the show. Like, it was just going to be a cameo in one episode, or if then he's going to help them. You know, I want them to pull away from the Sid. I want them to be more into like the rebels thing and like trying to fight the Empire, and because they have great skill, like they can really infiltrate some bases and get information. For sure. So I want to see more of that from them.
Right. What do you think, Insider? What do you think Gunji brings to the table for them? How they even see each other? What do you think?
I mean, as much as I don't want to see Sid, I feel like she's gonna have some information that they're gonna run off of her, and they're gonna find like Gunji's probably be in trouble, and she's like, you know, I got some information on this. Go check it out. And they probably find him in that stress situation, and they get him out of it.
Well, that's why he would ignite his saber, because he'd think, "Oh my God, clones!"
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking something like that, or it could be, I mean, it could be too that they're trying to save him. That's what I'm thinking. They're trying to save him at some point. That's what I'm kind of guessing. But I mean, there's a lot. Again, there's a lot. What do you think happens to the other ones though from the gathering? Like, what do you think? Like, we hear like the story, maybe they didn't survive, but he's the only one.
I think they all died, and I think he'll maybe
talk about
that a little bit, or hint to it. I don't know. Like if they say we're sorry if you lost anyone, and then he'll show like a clear.
We'll see like a flashback of it happening.
Yeah, I don't know if a flashback, but you know, it'll just be obvious. And for Clone Wars fans who like saw those episodes will know like, oh, it was like the other ones that didn't make it. I don't know. Yeah. Or maybe that was just the tease and they're all gonna be together. Like they all survived. I don't know.
That'd be dope, honestly.
Or if they were with Ahsoka, that'd be so cool. Because she was with them in that episode finding their crystals. That'd be cool.
You got a point.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to see some of that. That'd be really cool. Who's the other character? I mean, overall, what do you think Palpatine brings to the table in this in the second season? I'll throw it to you, Insider. What do you think, since we got a little bit of him?
With Palpatine being in it, I mean,
anything is possible.
There's a lot they can do there, but I would be more comfortable if he was more in the background, if he was not, you know, up front and center, if he was just pulling the strings from the background like we saw him before. I think that would be a great place to put him. I mean, he still has his presence there, his on his presence, but other than that, I don't think we need Palpatine up front and center and just taken away from the show.
I mean, I feel like he's in everything. I mean, like you always.
It's
like so. I think it's just like the idea is cool, like just to know like his presence is there. Like you see a little bit of him, and then like that's it. Like it reminds you like who's running the show at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, do you think? You know, like I was thinking about this for you. You think we'll get a Vader? We'll see a little like.
That's what I want.
I would love that too.
I want Vader back.
Yeah, I would love to see this version of Vader too, because like I feel like they threw that away, like, you know, in Revenge of the Sith. Like one of my favorite lightsabers is the Revenge of the Sith one, when he becomes Vader, that hilt, and they never really did anything with it. It was just kind of like they threw it away. But I would love to see like that lightsaber, because we saw like, for example, like Maul's lightsaber from Solo, like in Rebels, we saw like the two, right? They continued it even in Solo. So I would love to see like that lightsaber in this, like so bad, so bad. If they
would love to see Crosshair working for Vader.
Ooh,
that's what I wanted.
That would be interesting.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one for. I think that'd be dope. I mean, there's so many things that they can do with season 2. I'm just pissed that it got delayed, to be honest, because I think that with Andor getting pushed, I was talking about that before. If you think about it, right, everything after COVID happened, everything got delayed already. Like Kenobi was supposed to come out 2021, if I'm not mistaken, because they announced Kenobi went in 2019, right? So you figure all of 2020 they worked on it. It was supposed to happen 2021, and Ahsoka was supposed to happen this year, but everything, again, like I said, got pushed back due to COVID. And then it's like Kenobi was the first one that got delayed. but we got that 2-episode premiere celebration, which was amazing. I got to see that.
That was great.
That was so awesome. I was like so happy. I was like, listen, I'm not mad at this at all. I'm chilling. And then after that, now you hear Andor, and it's not even like a week or two. Like, no, we're talking about like 3 weeks later. Like, basically almost a whole month from the 26th that was supposed to come out this Friday, all the way now to the 21st of September. And then it ends in November, the 23rd. I'm just like, well, where does the Bad Batch fit? Because it was supposed to happen, and they were supposed to release Tales of the Jedi too. So
that's true.
When is like, because if they're pushing Bad Batch back, are they going to push Tales of the Jedi up, or is it going to be in November now after Andor?
Well, remember, Visions was supposed to come out too. Visions was also supposed to come out.
That's right.
But I'm just wondering if they would have had like a show, like an animated show going on during Andor, or if they want that to have its own timing. So I wonder if now Tales of the Jedi is going to be late November to December, and then Bad Batch will go into like February, March, or January, February.
I'll be honest. I don't think Bad Batch is happening. I don't know, because I'll be honest. Like, there's a lot, like, Visions I could see happening because it's a one and done type of a show. Like, it has nothing to do with the canon. So kind of like when they released it the last time, they released all the episodes you want, you go watch it, whatever. But that's fine. I don't really care about Visions. They can release that whenever, but it's more like the Bad Batch. I'm thinking, honestly, after I think they're gonna give it kind of like a little bit of a break, and then after that, you're gonna have the Bad Batch right out. Well, that's the thing. The Mandalorian is supposed to be happening too next year. So I don't know. Like it's in Ahsoka. So you have Ahsoka next year. You have the Mandalorian, but they said
is everything going to be pushed now, like a little bit, and they'll announce that in September?
I don't know. That's Disney Plus. I forgot. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to figure out when the Bad Batch is supposed to happen. They're gonna give.
And also, Boba Fett's getting a season 2.
Well, we talked about that. That's supposedly, we don't know yet, but Ahsoka slated to actually come. They said next year, if I'm not mistaken, the last I heard was around Christmas. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I heard. For
next Christmas?
Yeah, next Christmas, not this one of 2023. If it is the
summer.
Honestly, I'll be honest. I thought Ahsoka would have came out during Celebration. That's such a big show. That would have made more sense to have it at Celebration, release it there, just like they did Kenobi. And then, but I don't know. They might do the Mandalorian. That's the thing. I don't know, because the Mandalorian's already done. The Mandalorian's already done filming. So that'll
go first.
Right. And Bad Batch, technically, because I think here, I think what was it here? I forgot. Somebody said about the Bad Batch, but either way, Bad Batch is done. They already finished that already. That's been done. So I mean, at this point, it's just more about the timetable of when they're gonna release stuff. Because I don't think they should. If they're gonna release Bad Batch, to release it at the same time as the Andor series, that's a lot. That's a lot. Bad Batch is for Celebration, is my guess, or Tales. I mean, I'll throw your guys' way. What do you want to see first? What would you rather see first, Tales or Bad Batch?
I say Tales because it's going to be shorter. Like, they can just do that in a few weeks. Or also, we were talking about, we don't know how they're going to drop the episodes. It was going to be all at once, since it's like smaller, or if it's going to be, because they're doing the arc. So if they're going to drop an arc at once. Right. So it's going to take less time. And I think if they're going to push back Bad Batch, you should just do Tales first. And I mean, just from a marketing perspective, I think you should have each show shine on its own. So don't release it when Andor's already being released. Right. Just let it be after. So I don't know, maybe just start off the new year with that. Like, do Tales of the Jedi end of November to December, and then do Bad Batch in early spring, and then you do Mando into Celebration.
I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do this. I really don't.
They don't either. Trust me, they don't either.
Yeah, that's what I'm gathering. Like,
no idea.
Honestly, they really have no idea, and that's the scary part. Like, that's really scary, because it's like, did you even? I feel like they knew. Like, there's no way we could sit here and be like, they had no idea that they were gonna integrate. Like, they knew, like, this shit. They probably played this shit. Like, they're doing it on purpose to create like controversy, like in Twitter and freaking YouTube and all this shit, so people could go crazy.
You're giving them too much credit.
Nah, listen, you'd be surprised. Like, again, we're not behind it. We don't really know what's going on. I mean, again, it could be I'm giving them credit, could be I'm not. I mean, again, I don't know. I'm not Lucasfilm, so I couldn't tell you. But overall, yeah, it's another W downer. But let's talk about Jon Favreau talks about the future of Star Wars. So I don't know if you guys got to hear about this. He wants to basically, he knows that they're getting, obviously there's an end game to this, right? We know the sequel trilogy happens right after that whole Mandalorian, the Mandoverse, right? So basically what he's saying is that he wants to integrate characters, you know, from Return of the Jedi to, you know, during, from like, just overall from like that era, and integrate them into the Mandalorian verse, the Mandoverse, shall I say. So people, I guess we would, that never, like their story never got finished. I mean, they never finished telling. They want to bring that into the Mandoverse at some point with possibly the Skeleton Crew, with the Mandalorian, or some other show that they're gonna have come out of the woodworks. I guess I'll throw it to you guys. What do you think about that? Hearing that they want to integrate characters from, you know, episodes 4 to 6. Yeah. What do you think about that? I'll throw it to you, Insider.
I mean, I think it's a cool idea having this, like, you know, Mandoverse and having all these different characters come in. But I mean, we have this whole 30-year timeline between the sequels and the originals. I mean, we have all that to play with, but I'm curious to see what direction they're going to go with. Is going to go with, you know, like individual character shows, or like, you know, arcs like that. I mean, how long and how many different characters can we use, and interesting stories can we implement into this? Because I feel like all the legacy characters are being used right now, and we're almost out of them. So I'm just curious what they're going to use for that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, honestly, well, I mean, one of the things that I'll talk about that in a little bit. What do you think, Em?
I mean, that's my question too. Like when you say with the Mandoverse, is this going to be individual character shows? And if it is, it's just going to be like a 1-season thing, or?
Well, they want to introduce, they want to not introduce, I guess, finish telling whoever's story that they want, I guess. So it could be, I guess, for example, from the comics. I'm assuming they're going to grab characters from the comics. They have to, because there's no way you can keep on, like, for example, like Kira's character, like that's a character they need to talk about. Like, yeah. I know that they have the whole thing of Crimson Reign now. If I'm not mistaken, I was reading about it. Her story's supposed to be coming to an end now with the last issue of it. So I wonder if they're going to kill her off. And if they don't, are they going to save her for this timeline, for the whole, like, you know, before the whole sequel trilogy? Because that's their goal, is they want to tell a story, which I knew was going to happen because they talked about that a long time ago, where they want to have it where the Mandalorian kind of like leads up into the sequels, and it kind of like talks a little, they want to talk a little bit about the First Order and see, because again, we want, like, I want to see how it all started. I want to see the rise of it. I want to see, like, you know, maybe a younger Kylo Ren too at some point. I want to see, you know, more of Luke. That's, I do, like, I mean, for me, for myself, that's what I would want to see. And even like, if you read if you look at the comics, they have stories on the Knights of Ren during this timeline. Like, that's something I want to see integrated, because again, in the sequel trilogy, they look like ass. Like, they got their asses handed to them so easily. And I think that it's so funny, because if you read the comics in Crimson Reign, like, they're like these characters that, like, they're fucking unbeatable, and now it's like, well, how can you do better? What more can you do with them? And that's something I really want to dive into. And I would like to see some Snoke, honestly. Like, I really want to see that, even though I kind of know, like, we know how he's created in the comic. They kind of dive into that with Vader going to Exegol, but that's more what I want to get into. Go ahead, Em. What do you think?
Well, this might be an unpopular opinion between you two. I don't know, but I want them to focus on new stuff. Like, I don't really want them to say, oh, we're going to go back and explore like this old character. It's like, yeah, that's great to do. And I'm not saying never do that, but I just feel like Mando opened up so many doors, because it showed that we can make like a hit show without focusing on an old character. Like, we can create a brand new story and a brand new character, and people will love it. And I just want them to do that. Like, it would kind of upset me if they were building, I mean, I'm not saying every show that's come out is great, but like putting in all this effort just for it to lead back to the sequel trilogy, I feel like, okay, now we're like right back to where we started. You know, I want them to go above and beyond that. And if they're going to go to old things, like, just like give us Old Republic then. If you're going to go into old characters and invest your time and money in that, like, give us something new in a different universe, instead of, oh no, we got to go back to Rey, we got to go back to Kylo, you know, because I know there's a huge fan base for that, but I would argue that there's a bigger fan base of people that just want something new. That's just me. I don't know.
No, I think Insider, I think you could agree too. I'm in the same boat. I think I'm down. I mean, I'm down to see some Old Republic stuff. I just think that I think the old, like I said before, and we've talked about it. I think that that's what the Acolyte is for. That's gonna be like the beginning of them kind of touching things before the prequel trilogy. That being 50 years before, the Phantom Menace. I think that that's gonna be like the little like touch, like etching, like the little touchstone, like.
Right, but then stick with that. Like, don't say, okay, now after that show, we gotta do a new show that's gonna tie us right back into the sequel trilogy. It's like, no, now we just took like 10 steps back. Like, pick a lane.
It's true.
No, it's like they want to go to old stuff, like that's their end game. But then at the same time, they're giving us like little bits of new things. And it's like, well, where is Star Wars going? Like, we need a set direction.
Well, good thing you talked about the future because John Boyega is basically done.
That's my video tomorrow.
So there you go. Literally, I just talked about that. I don't even know what the fuck I talked about today. I put a video. I don't even know what I talked. I gotta go look back. I'll like put it and then I don't even pay attention after. But it looks like he talked about it. And give me a second because I need to make sure what I put out today. Yeah, that's what I put out today. He's done. He doesn't want. Well.
We knew that.
Oh yeah.
He basically, we did, but it was more like, I mean, for me now, like I really hear it because he was on this podcast on Sirius XM. He was talking about it, and he talked about a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just gonna touch on him basically saying he thinks that the character's in a good place. It doesn't really need to be touched on. He doesn't mind if the character's featured in a video game or an animated series. Fine, that's totally perfect. And I agree to an extent. And I'm gonna go with what you were saying, and I think what we talked about last week, right? Is they need to just focus more on like I'm happy he confirmed that because now it's like it's all the more of the like the confirmation that we're not gonna get anything sequels anytime soon. And I'm happy with that because I think that I'm gonna go even like a little bit further. I think they need to like just leave the past behind. And go forward. I think that they need to focus on what happens after Rey. I think that's something they need to dive into and touch on new characters. Talk about a new we're done. Let's finally be done with the Skywalker saga. That's something I've been dying to get out of because I feel like we've been stuck in it for so long. Like if you think about this, right? We know Kylo Ren wasn't a Darth. They haven't came out with like a new Darth like character. They're just kind of reusing what George already gave us. So I want to see what kind of new villain they can give us, with a new storyline of a new, like who's going to be the next Skywalker. That's what I want to see more going forward. And I think that they're in a bit of a pickle, to be honest. I don't think they have a direction. I think what they want to do is they bought Lucasfilm in 2014. The sequels didn't really do well for them. And that, again, I'm just stating what's the obvious. I'm not going to get into the whole sequel thing. I'm just going off the money, right? We know it didn't really do good with fans. It was very divided. We know that COVID happened. A lot of things got pushed back. Again, going back to what you were saying, The Mandalorian, we see how much, how successful it's been. You can tell a story that has nothing to do with, Anakin, Vader. I mean, obviously the roots are there, but you can do something different. And I think that that's the direction they could go in. I mean, what do you think, Insider? What would you want to see? Not hearing that he's done. What do you think they can do?
Yeah, as much as I love the Skywalker saga, I mean, I can talk about that till the cows come home. But I mean, ever since Disney said they're bringing Star Wars to the table in 2015, I was thinking, Old Republic and like new villains, Darth Krayt and all that.
Dude, freaking Kate Skywalker, bro. I was hoping for that.
Exactly. But like, yeah, we've been stuck in this rut forever, and it seems not to be working for them. So if they come with something new, and if it gets a big hit, I mean, it'll be something new for all of us, and it works. So
I think that's the direction we need to go in, honestly. I think we need new. I think it's about time we kind of like, look, listen, Darth Vader is always going to be the villain, the most feared villain in just every like category of film, right? Like I feel like Vader is like the guy. And I think that we need a new villain. I think it's about time that Disney gets creative. And I think they're being very lazy, to be honest, because they're just reusing shit that already is kind of like out there. For example, I think I did like a little short on it. I did a video. Like, did you guys get to see like, did you guys get to see what was it called? Kylo Ren's original concept art, like the original, like the first one. And it's like it's crazy because it's so creepy looking. Like it's so like it's bugged out. And I'm like this. And then we get Kylo's version. And I'm not knocking it. Look, listen, I know everybody, has their own thing. They love, whatever we got with Kylo, but I just feel like they need to do something that's different. Shy away from the Vader looking kind of a thing. Like, just give us something raw. Like, I saw you earlier. You posted Malgus. Malgus is one of my favorite Sith of all time. Like, that's my dude. Like, I'm looking for his like statue, like honestly, all over the place. I'll spend whatever on it, and I love his lightsaber. And if you like watch, for example, the cinematic trailers for the Old Republic, it's just fucking badass. It's so gory, like, and
oh my god,
I get it. Like, look, you don't want to make things, you can't do that. It's Disney, right? I get it. You don't want to make it gory, whatever. We don't need gory kind of Star Wars. But I just want like a badass, like I just want this character that's just badass, is just very powerful, comes in and just strikes anyone down. And it's like the fighting sequence is so dope. Go ahead, Em. I know you want to get in on this.
I could literally, oh my god. Like, do you know how I just want them to bring Malgus into it. Like, that could be, I don't know. I just think that could be the new Darth Vader. Because first of all, we know he's not just a one and done kind of villain. Like, it's not like you're just going to have him in one film. There's so much depth to him too. It's not just like, oh, he's evil because he's evil, because I'm even like the last cinematic we got, like, I forget what his exact lines were to the girl, but he was basically telling her, like, it's not just the Sith that have corruption, the Jedi do too. Like, he understands both sides, even though he's obviously in the dark side. Like, he understands the Jedi too, and that would just be so. Like, well, even with Revan too, obviously, like, he was in between. But Malgus, because, like, he's that hardcore villain, right? He gets it done. He does what needs to be done all the time. Right. But there would just be so many stories with that. And I think he could even be a villain that people sympathize with too, in a way. Right. Like, it's not just people watching him to fear him or be scared of him. Like, I think he could be a character that people,
I agree. Yeah. No,
It'd be so good. And they don't need to create anything new, There's no stress of like, oh, now we need this new guy. We don't know what to do. Like, there's so much material with him.
I think they're scared. I think that's what it is. I really, you know what it is? I think that they're afraid to go that route because they don't want to kind of fuck it up. I think that's what they're really afraid of, is fucking up like Old Republic. And that's why they brought in the High Republic, because it's more kid friendly. The Old Republic is just too hardcore. If you look at, I'm serious.
Yeah, like, Disney.
Like, I'm seeing a Game of Thrones kind of show.
I think Dave would have the story for it. Like, I think Dave would know how to do it, but Disney would shut him down and say, no, that's too hardcore. We can't do it.
I'll be honest. I don't think Dave has it. I don't think Dave could do a show like that. For you're talking about a series like for the Old Republic?
Not like, no, I'm not saying like he would do it, but I'm saying like, I think he could be at a board meeting and saying like, I think fans would really like it if we maybe went in this direction, because he's creative director, right? But I just think everyone else is like, no, I have no idea how to do that. And I think that's their biggest issue. I know how you're saying like they're scared. I think their problem is there's too many people going in different directions. I think John is like, no, new stuff all the time. Kathleen's like, I want money, make me money. And I think Dave, because George is his mentor, so he's not really in the mindset of creating new stories. He has like all this information from old characters that he wants to bring to the table. So they're constantly clashing with stuff. I think that's why right now they don't really have a direction. Nothing makes sense like Marvel, because they don't have one person that can say, this is what we're doing.
I think I'll be honest. I think what's going on here is, I think that because when I was reading the article, like the whole thing with Jon Favreau and Filoni, right? They spoke to Entertainment Weekly recently. I really believe the direction they're going is, when you read that article, it kind of sounds like they have like, I think they had like a phase one when Jon Favreau came in. I think Favreau has been the best thing for Lucasfilm, to be honest. I just think that because COVID fucked everything up, because that's what it looked like. If you remember when they announced everything at the investors meeting, they had a whole list of things to come out up until 2027. That was their like phase one of things to come out. And then after that, they were kind of going to start releasing more things. And I think that everything got pushed back. Everything kind of got messed up and wacky, right? Because Lando, right, was supposed to happen. But now you can't even get Donald Glover because he's too busy now to even think about doing or reprising his role as Lando. So we won't see that show for a while. I think that they're trying to finish. That's what I think season 5 is going to be, the wrap up for Mando. That's why they're trying to integrate characters from like Return of the Jedi and other things, is so that way they can finish that. And then from there, be done. Let it lead into like, The Force Awakens, and then do something different. Because I think Ahsoka is going to be a one and done as well. I don't think it's going to be more than one season. I hope not. I really don't
I
want to
hope
see.
it's a one and done.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't want to see more. Like I know that's Dave Filoni's baby. He's super excited because he's got Rosario Dawson now to play the live action version of her. That's great. That's awesome. But I think after season 5, because Pedro Pascal is done after The Mandalorian. Like his contract is up. They said it already. After season 5, they're done. So I'm thinking personally they're gonna do some things after. I think they're just kind of trying to like wrap it up in the next couple of years. That's what I'm assuming. But again, I could be wrong. What do you think, Insider?
Yeah, I mean, like it all falls into the pushing back of the shows too, because like you said, we had all these lineups for shows, and they kept pushing it back. And with the Mandalorian contract, I mean, we could have done so much with Pedro Pascal, but that timeline just shifted, and we got what we got. So I think Disney and Lucasfilm need to get their. I mean, can I cuss on this? They need to get their shit together, and they need to focus down.
This isn't my monetized channel, bro. So you're good.
Okay, we're good.
I know how it is. I'm like,
I
don't want to say. I don't even want to curse, bro. I get you.
But no, yeah, they need to get their shit together, and they need to put their heads down and move in a direction and stick with it, because, like Em said, we're just jumping around all over the place right now.
But Pedro fucked them over too, because they chose the actor that literally was like, okay, this is great, but I'm going to do other shows at the same time as this. Yeah. So I'm not even going to film.
Well, that was the thing. It wasn't supposed to go down like that. It happened because of COVID. And then he had all these like gigs that he signed onto, and he had kind of no choice at that point in time. Because remember, a lot of the times we don't like, we think things are like it came out or whatever, but like all these things are planned way before. So it's like The Mandalorian was already planned probably like 3 to 4 years before, like when we first got it. Because like Kenobi, like for example, when you hear Ewan McGregor, he had to keep hush hush for like I think like 4 to 5 years or something like that. So like they know what's going on. They have their careers are. I mean, they have agents, right? Like they know what the hell they're doing. It's just more of trying to. Well, for the most part. For the most part. No, I mean, depending on the actor, right? That's true. I'm with you there. But for the most part, Pedro Pascal is a well-known actor. He's got a whole bunch of stuff going on, and it's hard. I mean, do you really need him? He's behind the. I mean, he's wearing a helmet the whole time.
Well, that was the issue. Is because I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe you know more about this, but I think like remember that whole thing went down where they were like, they're now renegotiating his contract because you said I want my face to be shown more if you're paying me all this money. Yeah. Right. And then after that went down, that's when he signed on with like The Last of Us and other projects. I feel like after they told him like, no, this is how we're doing it, I think his agent found him other shows. And because that's the thing as an actor, like, okay, maybe Mando makes a lot of money, but you're not going to get casted for other things if no one's seen you act with your face.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of said like, okay, Disney, like, thanks for the role, but I'm going where it's actually going to support my career more, Yeah. So I don't really even think it was COVID. I just think that he, as an actor, was like, this serves me money wise, but actually to like propel my career, I need to go with stuff that's actually going to show me a lot. Because you're right, he doesn't need to be on set. He can just do voice acting. But I don't think he knew that originally. So then once he was there and realized how it was going to go, he's like, oh, I can do so much more stuff at the same time. But then that ended up fucking up production for him.
I think he knew. I think so. Because if you look at, for example, Hayden Christensen, I mean, you didn't really get much of him. I mean, you got like what? I think the one that he's in the desert. You got the one with the flashback. And then you see him in the last episode. You only got 3. So, I mean, like, you didn't really need him. I mean, that's why you had like 3 other stunt people playing Vader.
No, that was literally just fan service, that whole thing. And the whole press tour of being like, Hayden's back. Yeah. Like, the man had 2 lines. He had like 2 lines.
But that's my point. But, well, I'm just saying overall, when you saw him visually, going to what you're saying, when you see him visually, you know what I'm saying? Like, they know. They just want to do it because it's Star Wars. And again, it's like being in Marvel, right? You're in Marvel. You're relevant for the rest of your career, right? Like you said, did probably the whole thing with the helmet thing. Yeah, probably fucked him up more. And, that's probably why he took other roles. Could be.
It's agents, right? So I'm sure his agent was in his ear being like, hey, no, you need to go over here. Like, I'm going to find you better stuff to do. Like, screw them. And then when COVID happened, then that really just production all messed up. Because The Last of Us has had priority over filming for Mando. Like, he wasn't on set for anything because he was just filming The Last of Us.
Yeah,
and I'm sure
voiceover. It's all just him.
Yeah, and I'm sure Disney was probably really pissed about that because they're paying him the same amount, like his tens of millions of dollars, when they probably could have paid him a lot less because he's really not prioritizing it as much. You know? So I don't know. That's why I think it's interesting, Star Wars Insider, when you said like they could do so much more with Pedro. I'm like,
yeah.
But did Pedro want it? Like,
it's the thing.
He could have.
That's
but
true.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I agree. Well, we'll talk about this last topic. I want to talk about. Did you guys get to hear about Cal Kestis, the book that they're coming out with called Battle Scars?
No.
Oh, y'all didn't do your homework. I see. No, I'm kidding. So apparently they announced that there's going to be a book coming out called Battle Scars, and it's going to basically talk about the time from Fallen Order and Survivor. It's going to talk about that in between time, and it's going to cover all that. And I think it's cool. I mean, they didn't really give much on like what like the book is really going to like be about. They just said that's it. It's an in-between book, and they're going to come out with another book showing kind of like the artwork from Jedi Survivor. So it's going to be like an art piece for that, I think, which is cool. You know, you get to see some of that stuff, right? But I mean, more Cal Kestis, I'm for it. What do you think, Insider? How do you feel about it?
I'm down with it. I mean, I love the video game. I mean, the video game was a breath of fresh air when the drought came. So
didn't it give you like that? It was like, I mean, nothing could ever touch Force Unleashed. Nothing could ever.
Nothing can. That's golden right there.
That's like a gold mine, because I just bought that recently on my Switch, and I just keep playing it. And I got like all the cheat codes, so I downloaded all the characters. I'm like, but it was like, it was cool because it was finally like you got to be this character and like customize your lightsaber. Like that to me was so dope because I'm a big lightsaber guy. Like, and I don't talk about it much, but I love the fact you got to customize your lightsaber, and like that was cool. And the colors too were so dope. The only one that was tight was you couldn't put, like, remember in Unleashed, I think it's the second one, you could put a black lightsaber. You could have a black lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? And I was like hoping for that, and they didn't have it. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
That would have been really dope. But overall, the game is cool. I mean, story-wise, I think about what we can get with that. I guess just him training, right? With the girl character that ended up being a Jedi at one point. I forget her name. I don't remember her name, but
Siri,
not Siri.
Yeah.
Siri. I think that there's more with that because he knew a lot about the Inquisitors. She knew about Vader. So possibly, maybe, we see some of that, some little, what would be cool? Talking about the Bad Batch, I was like, that'd be dope if we see them integrate somehow. Because I'm waiting to see when they include the Bad Batch into something that's like other than just like what they're doing now. Because I'm hoping too. Omega looks a little bit older in the in season 2. I'm hoping for a time jump of like at least 2 to 3 years. Like I don't want it to be that it's just 6 months down the line.
No, it's a time jump. Like all their armor changes. It has like different, like they painted over it too, like the old markings. Like you can tell like they've been doing stuff. They might not even be with Sid anymore in the beginning. Like they might say like they've moved on.
Yeah, I mean, you see her a little bit in the trailer, so that scared me. I'm not gonna lie. I saw that trailer with her in it. I'm like, oh no, not more of her. I'm like, I can't take her anymore. I need to get away from her. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys want to see? I'll throw it to you, Em. Did you get to? I mean, you know about Cal Kestis, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
What'd you think about, like, what do you want to see from that book that maybe can tell us something that we didn't know about? Maybe.
Well, you know what I think is interesting, like hearing that they're doing a book. I feel like that's their way of not giving us a live action story with him, because now they can say, well, no, you know what happens. Read the book. Like we don't need to do a show about like, oh, show us life. No, it's a book. It's like their way of saving money with him. Right. So I don't know, because I feel like, I mean, that's great, but I feel like it'd be cooler if it could have been a show or something, like showing him, because like the actor said like he wants to do it, right? And I think it'll
up the age too.
Right, I just think it's gonna be sad if they just make it a cameo in the future and like we don't get anything more than that. Because I mean, I don't know if you've seen Shameless or like his other work. He is so talented. So like he could do a show. He could hold his own with a show, honestly. And I think it would do really well. So
yeah,
I would like to do that instead of a book, in my opinion. But I understand why they're doing that because of the new game. They want to tie it in together, but
Yeah. I mean, the game looks really cool. I mean, Do I care about the book? I'll be honest, not really, because I'm not gonna even read it. I'll just like spark note that shit. I just want to know more about Survivor because I'm really Survivor to me intrigues me because it's supposed to be like an ancient Sith that he goes up against. That's in the tank. That to me is fucking dope. Like we're talking about an ancient Sith. Like what? Like first off, what Sith is it? Is it like a new Sith that we'll see possibly like? Well, I mean, no, it can't be in the freaking. We can't see that. They have to get rid of him because. Yeah, but I just want to know. I want to know like how this turns out. I don't know. The storyline looks really dope. I think they with Cal Kestis' character, they have a really good like foundation. Like you said, I'm just waiting to see what they do with him live action. Maybe he come, maybe he gets help. Maybe freaking Quinlan Voss comes in because he's been thrown around too recently. Obviously in the Kenobi series and in
we were talking about Andor.
Yeah, like
with him and Kenobi because Kenobi was in the video game for that little cameo, so you could say, "Hey, I got your message."
Yeah,
you saved my life.
Yeah, I mean, I think Quinlan is such a character that has been, kind of like thrown to the sideline where you just like, oh yeah, Quinlan, he's there, but he's not really there. He's not there in spirit. He's just there in spirit, but not physical. But I don't know. I want to see some Quinlan. Like I've like done like I said last week, and I'll say it this week. I've done like 1,000 videos on him, and I just need to see some live action Quinlan. Like the guy's dope as shit. It's a brand new Sith, I assume. Listen, if Lucasfilm could freaking give us a new Sith, I'd be freaking happy. But I don't know how they're gonna do that because it doesn't. We never heard about it in the timeline. So
they can give us a new Sith, but can they give us a good Sith?
That's the question.
Like no, I'm not settling anymore. I am not settling anymore. Like Kylo, that was it. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. No, like it has to be good. Like I'm not, and I'm not doing a one and done either. Like if they gave us a great badass character for one film and that was it, I'd be so pissed.
Yeah.
Like I need more, and that's my worry with Acolyte. I'm like, what if this is like really good, and they stop and then they just go right back to sequel stuff? It's like no, like give me more, like venture more. Go a whole dark era. Like do like 3 new dark shows and then like a film. I would love that.
I think that's I really believe that's the I think that's why I always said it. Like when I first started like doing YouTube, like what, a year and a half ago, I really believe, I'm not gonna lie, I have a feeling that that's what the Acolyte is for. The Acolyte is their first test run of doing, because it's a Sith based. It's the first time we're ever getting a Sith based show, and I think that's going to be their roadrunner. Like that's going to be the one that they figure out that if it ends up being successful, which I really think it's going to be, because I mean, other than you could possibly have Plagueis in it, there really is there's no known about it. We don't know anything about this character Aura. It's a new character. We might see some Night Sisters in there, and then supposedly we're supposed to see like a hologram version of freaking Darth Revan, which has been long overdue. I'm dying for that. Like I think that it can do great. I think that if they follow this certain line of just succeeding with the Sith, I think that it could be great.
Depends on the story, because I feel like Disney, they don't want a villain to stay a villain. So if that show ends with her like being good,
with the redemption story, you're saying?
Yeah, like no, keep her evil. Just keep it Sith. I don't like, and that was my whole thing with Kylo. I was like, he could have been such a good villain if they had stuck with that, and they did a whole redemption arc. It's everyone, and then Rey, like that was so interesting. That oh my god, she could take his hand. They could be like a Sith couple. So cool. No, she has to do the redemption thing. It's like.
Oh come on! She got pregnant off of that. She got pregnant when he touched her stomach. Come on now. Oh my god! That was a thing. I don't know if you guys read that like a while ago. Like that was a thing. Like I remember people were talking about that shit where like supposedly like she got pregnant because like he touched her stomach and shit. And I'm like,
oh my god,
we're really stretching right now. I'm like, this is not happening. And like this can. But then again, you know what? It's Star Wars. Like anything can happen.
That's not Star Wars.
Well, that's
going into Christianity shit. Well, that's going into something else.
We will not get into the topic of religion right now. I'm not doing that. Reva went from villain to good, which is just so basic.
Yeah, again, like she just for like 5 minutes later, she sees Luke and she's like, "Oh, I can't be mean anymore." Like,
well, it was so predictable too. It's like we saw it coming.
Yeah.
She was like the emo kid.
Yeah.
She literally was. She's like, I'm so angry all the time.
Grr.
Mm-hmm.
But
and like Boba too, now he has to be all like this great guy with morals and stuff. It's like, no, just give me like badass.
Yeah.
Listen, you know,
bloodthirsty Boba.
They can't have a villain. They can't.
Honestly, you know who I would love to get her own show is Ming-Na Wang. I would love. I feel like she to me is the
Fennec show.
Yeah,
okay, do you see her on Twitter? Like I don't know. Like she knows her shit with Star Wars. She really could do something with her own project.
I mean, she loves Star Wars. She's a big advocate. Like overall, I mean, she's been with Disney for years. I mean, come on. I mean, hold on. She's been around for years, and she looks great for her age. Yeah, I could definitely. I mean, she looks really good for her age, and I can really see her ass doing something. Like I would love to see a standalone with just her, because if you think about it, if you get a season 2 of Boba Fett, I mean, I don't know. Did we talk about it last time, ma'am? I don't know if we did. Did we?
No, well, I mean, we talked about that, but I don't know if we talked about Fennec.
But I mean, overall, like we know that she literally carried the show. Like she was the Book of Boba Fett until Mando showed up. Then it was he took.
Then over. It was the Mando show.
Right, and it's like I don't really see Temuera Morrison's like version of Boba carrying a lot of weight. I think that his story is good where it's at. I think it's done. You know, whatever, he had a redemption story. It's beautiful. It's, you know, let the birds and the doves out. That's good. Let it be done. I think that they need to do something different. I really don't want a season 2 because I can't even imagine what they would do again. Like what? More Power Ranger characters? Like, I don't want to see more of that.
What if season 2 ends? Like, they'll do a season 2, I'm pretty sure, just out of respect. But what if it ends with her, like, saying, it's been fun, Boba, but, like, I got to do my own thing, and then she gets her own project. Like they split, and then it goes in. She literally tags Disney. Like when a fan will give like a good idea, like she will tag them and stuff. Like she is advocating for her own stuff.
She is. You know, I don't know. I mean, I at some point maybe we'll get something more with her. Maybe an in between. I mean, I'm really curious for that Skeleton Crew show to come out. I really want to see what that's going to talk about, because they said it's going to have nothing to do with kind of like what's going on now. That it's its own like series. It's going to deal with a bunch of kids, and like I think it's like one adult, an older guy. I guess that's a part of it. So I don't know. I maybe that's something we could see different characters. I don't know. Hopefully it's different.
That's what I was hoping for with Taika's film, because he said it has nothing to do with the Skywalker saga. Like he'll do his own thing, and I'm like, okay, maybe that will be like the break. Like that's gonna venture into something new. But that movie's probably not happening anymore.
Like I said before, and I'll say it again, I think that they need to focus on Dawn of the Jedi. That was the original pitch for it. His like trilogy that was supposed, or a movie, shall I say? When they had the investors meeting, they had the picture of the Thoyor. If you guys don't know about it, that's Dawn of the Jedi. Go check it out. We spoke about it last time, and honestly, like that'd be great. Like the Dawn of the Jedi, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Okay, fine. Like that's the only type of Jedi thing that I would want to see, is like talking about the beginning of them. That I'm cool with. So cool with that, and possibly talking about maybe like at one point, you know, the first what is it, Jedi turned Sith, Junta Po. I would love to see some of that, like come to live action. That I would like, you know. So again, Star Wars has all the Legends material that they could bring into life, and the thing is that they just, I don't think they don't do it, and maybe one day they will. Who knows? There's so much EU stuff that they could do. Heir to the Empire is amazing. Yeah, I mean, again, Thrawn, great character. That's why, you know, Insider, you have him.
If they ruin him, oh my god. If they ruin that man.
Same.
You're on a live stream and you're like, you mean to point to this frame? But I mean,
right.
But yeah, Thrawn, another great character. Need more of him. Honestly, I'm hoping that we get to see him in Andor. That'd be really cool if we saw him there.
Well, we talked about that. Like, that's gonna be like a little tiny cameo where it won't even focus on him, but like if you know, kind of thing. We'd be like,
yeah, where he just kind of like just passes by, you know, like he's just telling people what to do, and that's it. I'm cool with
I would scream. I would like drop to the floor and scream.
I'm sure you would.
I love him. Oh my gosh, and they'll ruin him too. And you know,
they kind of already did ruin him, though. They kind of did, if you think about it. It's not
okay. We're not talking about Rebels. Rebels doesn't exist. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about it. Come on.
Nobody cares.
It's a good show. I like Rebels. I'm like, I mean, like, especially Vader. Like, I love Vader and Rebels. Like, to me, that's like I love Vader.
That's the only thing that counts.
True.
And then, like with Rex, everything else doesn't exist.
It
didn't happen.
Legends. It just turned into Legends.
Yeah, it's not canon. I don't know.
Put it in Carbonite. All right, we're good. He's casted in the Ahsoka in Ahsoka. Yeah, that he is casted and he is supposed to be the main.
I know. I'm so nervous how they're gonna do that.
Oh, come on. It's Dave Filoni doing it. It'll be just fine. Next thing you know, it's like the most.
I don't trust Dave. I did a whole TikTok on that where I was like, he is not the savior of Star Wars people claim he is.
I think Jon Favreau's more of the savior, to be honest. I like Jon Favreau more. I've never been a Dave
because
Filoni.
Jon Favreau has the Marvel mindset. He knows how to do freaking phases. Like everyone thinks Dave is the Kevin Feige of Star Wars. I'm like, he's not. Like, he's not, because you need someone that's business minded and has the creative side. Well, John is the business and Dave is the creative, but they clash. Like, they need one guy that can do all of it.
Let's be real. I mean, if it wasn't for literally Jon Favreau like starting up freaking Iron Man, they would not be where they are today at all.
Exactly. But I don't know. Like, that would have been such a controversial thing. But if they had given John the creative director job, I would have liked it more. I don't know. I think he has better things.
But you know what's funny though? What kind of makes me laugh is that, I mean, again, I know he didn't really do much. He just kind of like guided. But I don't know if you guys know about this, but like Jon Favreau had a little input on the Kenobi series. He kind of walked Deborah Chow, making sure that everything kind of stood along what was canon and stuff. Because I remember she had came on and said, we're not, like, she kind of said, like, I don't really care about the canon, just my version of it. She had said something along those lines, and I was like, whoa. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure Jon Favreau's not going to let that happen. So, yeah. And then Kenobi came out, and then it was something really different. And then it kind of scared me a little bit because I'm like, well, Jon had a little intake on this. So I wonder how much of Jon really was in on this.
Okay, well, that scares me because the show was dog shit, so.
Yeah, so like, one thing is doing Marvel because, again, it's a superhero, and how do I put it? Like, you can't really get it wrong, right? Like, there's no such thing as legends really in like comic books, like for Marvel or DC. It's just more like, how much of the character are you really gonna get, right? Mm-hmm. And they don't do that.
I disagree.
I mean, think about it.
Because look at DC. Like, their whole issue is that they're not. No. Because their whole thing is they're not doing the characters justice because they have like the material they should be using. So you can do wrong with the superheroes. Like, no,
I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that. But that's what I'm saying. That's the difference with like, for example, a guy like Jon Favreau who listens, who understands the character. He's a comic book head. Like, I don't know if people know, but like, he loves comics, and he really, when he did Iron Man, that was his goal, was to make it like a, what was it? They had 4 movies, right? It was to make it a thing, and that was the beginning of the whole thing. He just wanted to do the Iron Man. I mean, and then it blew out. Him and Robert Downey Jr. killed it. Mm-hmm. And Star Wars is different because you can't, how do I put it? You could go off of the comics books, but you can't at the same time. Well, you could, but it's just they won't, because I mean, why? I have no idea. For example, it's like I remember I was listening to Sam Witwer, and he was talking about bringing Starkiller. They'll never do it. If they ever did do it, he would just be dumbed down to a freaking Inquisitor, which I don't want. I don't want to see him as an Inquisitor.
I don't want him as an Inquisitor. When everyone was like, "Oh, get him in the Kenobi show as a cameo," no.
Yeah,
because that's not him. Like, it's Starkiller, but they're not going to do it because it's not like they're going to do Force Unleashed as a movie.
Well, I mean, you can't even. I mean, I'll be 100% honest. I mean, as much as I freaking love Starkiller. You can't put him. There's like, I even agreed. Like, there's no fucking way you could put him into any show because he just freaking obliterate with that Force repulse. How fucking no? He'll kill everybody. He'll fucking kill Palpatine and Vader. There's no fucking way. There's no way. So I mean, listen when people say, "Oh no, it's they gotta put him." No, you can't. Like he's just too OP. Like, there's no freaking way. And people try to say, "Oh well, Rey's OP." Yeah, but we're talking about like Starkiller's very OP. There's no fucking way. Like, it would just make Vader look like a little bitch. I'm sorry, like literally Vader. And you can't do that. Like, there's no way you could I mean, Kenobi made him look like a bitch, but you know what I'm saying? Like, overall,
the Kenobi show made Kenobi look like a bitch.
That too.
It's awful. Yeah. Oh my god.
I mean, we could get it. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that Visions isn't canon, so just do the same for Starkiller.
Yeah. What if they did like non-canon shows where they're like, we're gonna do a show. It's just about it's just about like a non-canon character, and that's it. And it was a Starkiller show based off the games. Like, I would be happy. I'd be fine.
I think you would just have to do an episode. What do you think?
Or animation. Like, what if it was like an animated episode? Like, that would be cool because Sam Witwer, obviously voice actor, right? So that could work if they did an anthology. Because we were talking about it, I think, last week. With Tales of the Jedi could be a stepping stone into way more stuff like that, of showing stories we never got. And if they did a non-canon version of that, and we could go into like Revan and Malgus for like an episode, that'd be cool. I don't know.
Mojo Quid, homie, what's going on? I you know, I think everybody's been dying for that in the community. Is like a what if, like we got Marvel's what if, like we need, there's so many what ifs, like what if Anakin never turned? What if he freaking, like what if him and Kenobi went on, and like there's just so many, and I don't know. Maybe at some point they will.
They won't do it. They won't do it.
I personally don't see it happening anytime soon. Anytime soon. Because even like, for example, right? Tales of the Jedi in the comic book version is kind of like just tales, right? Like you have like these what ifs. That's what they are, right? That's where they got the name from the comics. And it ends up being that now they're giving us stories that are canon and just
they're canon,
right? They're just kind of like touching like that. For example, the Count Dooku one, we know it's going to be a 2-episode arc. We see how he gets pissed off at Mace for getting promoted, and turns, and then we see young Qui-Gon. Fine, but that show, honestly, when I heard the name, I was like, great, they're going to go off of the comic route where it's kind of like the what if. Then I see the trailer and I'm like, you're not doing it again. You're doing your own thing. Y'all are going away from the comics, and that's what pisses me off.
Yeah, but that's Dave, though, right? Where he's like, his whole information is like the canon stuff he learned from George, He's not going to do non-canon stuff, I don't think.
I mean, but that's the thing. Even with George, like okay, so perfect example, right? Yes, he was, but if you think about it, George's sequel trilogy was supposed to be Darth Maul and Talon. So Talon is an EU character. He was going to touch that, and he even presented that to Lucasfilm, to Disney at the time, and they said, "No, we're not going to do that. Bye. We bought you out."
Right.
Because that was the last thing that he did before. He had the sequels written out, like they were done. It was supposed to be like because Maul, we weren't supposed to see him come back in the Clone Wars. It was supposed to happen in the sequel trilogy that we were going to see him in Talon, and then like they just said, "No, that as good as that sounds, we're not going to do that. We're going to go with our own thing." And then it's like, oh fuck, like y'all just really did your own thing. So yeah. I mean,
I just think like with Dave specifically, like I think he doesn't really like he's not comfortable handling non-canon. Like that's where, because I think if George had, because I don't even know how much George even shared with him about his sequel trilogy. Maybe he didn't at all. But I think if George maybe talked to him a little bit more about how to do non-canon projects or things that he would have wanted to see, and if Dave had that outline with him, then I think we would have gotten that. But I just think we don't, so he doesn't know how to do it himself. Because he wouldn't know how to do it right, I guess is what I'm saying. Like the closest we got with him was like the Revan thing and Clone Wars, like that episode of what they were going to do with him when they were on that, I forget that planet, but you know what I'm saying? Like they were venturing into it a little bit, but like that was the only thing. I just don't
they talked about Darth Bane. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what
you're saying. But I don't
saying.
think he'll do a focused, like a whole thing about that. I don't know. Maybe. I'd love for him to.
I mean, it looks like he did take a little bit of what George wanted, because I'll give you an example. I know we talked about it before. If you look at the Andor, the trailer, it looks like they're going into the lower levels of Coruscant, and that's what George wanted. He wanted to do a series. What was it called? I think it was called 1313, if I'm not mistaken, or Underworld or something like that. 1313 was the game. Underworld was the show. So it looks like they might be dabbling into the under. Like that's what I'm saying. They know. I agree with you. I think that he knows how to take some of the things that George wanted. Like for example, like the things that you hear about in Legends, or maybe it never even got put out, and kind of integrate it a little bit. I just don't think that he's at that point or comfortable or just not even knows how to do it, where he could bring it into live action. I don't think, or even animated. Like, I don't think so. And it's sad. It's really sad because there's a lot that George would have done differently. And you see that, right? And you see like that kind of like that step back that Lucasfilm is doing now with the sequel trilogy. That's why they have to use now the Mandalorian to explain the First Order and whatever else is gonna come from that, like maybe some Snoke. Like that's why they even use the comics now, that they're saying a lot of the comics now are canon, and they're all like they had to explain, how Luke's hand generated Snoke. You know, like that to me is like, it's funny because they're using the comics and they're calling it canon. It's canon, but they have no idea because they're trying to fix. They know they fucked up on the sequels, and not a lot of people want to admit it, and that's okay. I'm not gonna look, to each their own, but you have to talk about the elephant in the room at some point. I think that's what Dave and John are trying to do, because I think they're trying to fix that, because Dave Filoni was on the set for all 3 films. A lot of people don't know that. Like, that's why he was so. But why do you think Ryan Johnson, I don't know if you remember, at one point had came out and said, remember that favor you owe me, Dave Filoni, when you were on the set of The Last Jedi? Yeah, you owe me. And he wanted to do a sequel trilogy. Remember that? That was the whole thing, because Dave Filoni was on set of The Last Jedi, and Ryan Johnson was like, oh, I want to do an episode of The Mandalorian. Because remember that had came out a little while ago that he wanted to do that. And then, you know, it's kind of like, well, now what's got to give? Like, what are we going to do? And I don't know. It's just very touchy. Very, very touching. I don't know.
What's Dave's involvement with Andor? Do you know? Like, is he producing it? Because he got, like, when he was promoted, he was also promoted to executive producer, right? But he didn't produce Kenobi at all, which I thought was interesting. So I'm wondering if he's even involved with Andor at all, if he's going to produce it or any of that.
I don't know. I haven't heard. Insider, you know anything? I haven't heard it. I didn't hear his involvement.
Well,
in it.
I think John's more involved with Andor than Dave has been.
Who?
Favreau.
John. Yeah.
No, he's not even involved in that as well.
No.
Like, no, he's not involved. His name, when I look it up and everything, like, he has nothing to do with that. Like, you see Dave Filoni's name because he's the whole head honcho of everything, like him and Kathleen Kennedy. But Favreau had nothing to do with that. Wasn't his that wasn't his piece, because he's working more on the Mandalorian side. Like, that's what they've been working on. And then Dave was more focused on the Ahsoka. Well, he's focused more on the Ahsoka series, so he's doing more with that. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know. But who knows? Who knows what we're gonna get? Well, Dave was notorious for defending The Last Jedi in 2018. Yeah, that's why I said, because they were buddies. That's why he owes him that favor, Ryan Johnson. So, you know, at some point he said it. Ryan Johnson wants to direct an episode of The Mandalorian. I would not be surprised if it happened.
Do you think he still does? You think he still wants to come back? Because that's gonna be.
He's supposed to have a trilogy.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also supposed to be like 5 other movies that they're not going to do that they say they're still going to do.
I think he'll come back. I mean, I think that this time around it'll just be. I think that he needs time.
Twitter will lose their shit when that's announced. Like when they say Ryan, Twitter is going to lose their shit. Star Wars. Oh my, Star Wars theory.
Oh no.
Lose its shit.
I know.
That's gonna be a meltdown.
Oh yeah.
It is for sure. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, the whole thing going back to it. Yeah, I mean that's the only thing I could see is like them closing it out. But yeah, I don't really know. There's so much that Dave and John could do. What their plans are, nobody knows going forward. You know, all we could do is just sit back, wait, and be excited.
Or maybe that'll be Ryan's redemption arc, and then people will be like, "Yeah, give him his trilogy." Like, who knows? I don't know.
Who knows?
It'd be really good.
He's got hit movies. It's just The Last Jedi fucking sucks.
I know, but Star Wars fans, like, they don't see that. You know, same with Kathleen Kennedy. Like, they don't see all the stuff she's produced. They just blame her for the sequels. You know,
I know she's done a lot.
Yeah, but they just got their blinders on. Like, they don't see the potential these people can have.
I think it's just more. You know, again. What is it? Negativity sells. You know, like that's what it is. Like cancel culture sells. It sells a lot more than That's why it's hard for like a positive Star Wars YouTuber to thrive, because it's those negative ones that people love to go and shit on, and it's the one place that you could go and blame the one person that that one person is bitching about, and that's the sad part, because it's like, again, you know, these people have had so much success in their careers, and that's why they asked them. And to be honest, like, do I agree with what Ryan Johnson did? No, but at the same time, like, Lucasfilm shit the bed, because if you look at Colin Trevorrow's version 8 and 9, it was supposed to be dope. It was supposed to be a 2-parter. Like, it was amazing. When you look at the art for it, I mean, it took him years. Like, he was working on. That's why I say, like, majority of the time, these people have been doing it for a couple of years. It wasn't just like they just got the script and said, okay, we're gonna do this in like a year. No, like Colin Trevorrow like literally was working on it for like 4 to 5 years, and then, you know, to sit there and Kathleen Kennedy comes in, and I think that's kind of why like people come and say like, oh, well, because she didn't want, you know, that version of Star Wars to happen. And, you know, I guess, again, she had a different vision, but, you can't expect something to be successful when you have J.J. Abrams starting it, you have a different director, then coming in for the second one, and then J.J. Abrams coming back, trying to freaking regroup and kind of like bring back what happened in his last one, and then try to fix what happened in the middle one that he didn't even do. It's hard. It's so freaking hard.
What happened with Solo? They started with turn director, then they changed it, and then Kathy goes back and blames the failure on, oh well, it's just because it was like a solo character. It's like, no, it's because the actual like making of the film, you didn't do it right.
Yeah, but at the same time too, Solo came out at the wrong time. It came out right at the heat of freaking The Last Jedi. I mean, there was no way that show even had potential. Because I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I actually like Solo, and I actually really like Rogue One. I really like those two movies that a lot of people don't like, and I really do.
Rogue One's great.
I love Rogue One.
I do
too. I'm gonna go see it Friday.
Me too. I got to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, dude, I gotta go see that shit. And the fact that we're getting like a sneak peek of Andor, I was like, all the more. I have to go see that. That's a must. But what time are you going at?
Oh, I'm going late. I'm going with some friends. Yeah, I gotta hit the gym first, of course.
Yeah. Same here. I'm gonna go. Well, I'm going late. Yeah, I gotta go see. I was like, I had to get tickets for that shit because no freaking way I'm not gonna see that. I'm like, and it's been a while. Like to see a Star Wars in the movie theaters. Like what? Like it's been a minute.
I remember when Rogue One came out in theaters. I mean, I was so happy to see that movie in theaters the first time.
I'm not gonna lie. I had a bad experience watching Rogue One.
Oh no.
Yeah, because like. My homeboy, who I used to have a channel with, it used to be called The Solo Post. That's when I first started, and we went, and his poor soul. I mean, he's such a good guy that I love him. That's my day one homie. He fell asleep. Like it was so bad. No, because he came back from working. He literally he was working like he was a driver at the time. Like this is before he has like his career that he has now. And we went to see it. Like I was watching it. I was so I was a little bored at first. But then I hear this fucker snoring, and I'm like, you bitch. I'm like, you fucked up my experience for me. And I'll never forget, like, even like the Vader scene, like all I heard was,
oh my God. I would have been slapping him.
Yeah,
like,
same.
I understood him. I mean, again, I
would have Vadered him. What? I would have Vadered him.
I know, right? Literally.
Yeah, like you disrespectful shit. Get out.
Right?
For sure. No, but I'm happy now. I'm gonna go see with the right people this time, and it's cool. Again, I think it's nice that they're bringing it back out. It's cool. I think it's right before. Honestly, what they should have done with freaking even Kenobi, they should have freaking had Revenge of the Sith, and then
that's what I was saying. Oh my God, that would have been.
I think the reason why they didn't do that was because I think it was back in 2009. I don't know if you guys remember, they brought like the 3D version of it out, and it flopped. So I think they were like, yeah, we're not doing that again. But I mean, like, it's different times. Like this time, you actually have like a fan, like there's a fandom for it that's established now.
Right.
They could have done it, but
no, it's because they knew that film was 10 times better than that show ever could have been. And people would be watching that and then watch a show and be like, what is this?
And that's why I really believe Andor's gonna flop. I really do, and I'm sorry.
Really, I don't think so. It is like cinema quality, and the actors they got, like the whole. I don't know. I just have a weird feeling. Like even the clip that came out that I was watching, I was like, it just doesn't feel like a normal Star Wars show.
You saw the clip that came out
today? It feels like something else.
It does. I mean, again, they said they used actual locations. It's not like it's not like Kenobi.
It has the highest budget any other films had. Well, show has had so far, and I'm like, that's for a reason. That has to be for a reason. I mean, they believe in it. I think they believe in it though. That it's gonna do.
For sure, they stand by it. I mean, I don't disagree with it. I just think that again, that to me is not gonna sell me. Like you can't tell me because. Again, like it's like a movie, right? Like they have the highest budget, or it's like watching a freaking Mission Impossible movie with freaking Tom Cruise. Yeah, he used all the freaking greatest stunts in the world and fucking crazy blow up scenes, but it doesn't mean it's gonna be the best for me, at least for me. I have to see. Like that's why I say, like for Andor, I need to see what they're gonna bring to the table. Like Diego Luna, great actor, I love him. Again, me being Latino, like listen, you have me sold already. That's a win for the Latin community, but I need to see what they're going to do because, again, we know his story and I need to see what's going to make it different. What's this story so much more compelling? Like, why did we need a standalone forecasting Andor? Why? And
I think they know that. And I think they have a lot of stuff that they're hiding that they're not going to show, like in the trailers. Because I think they know that people are like, this is, okay. Like, I think they're going to blow it out of the park, honestly.
Yeah. I think, what I think is going to be more from, I think it's going to be more of the cinematic experience. I think it's going to be more of like the locations that we're going to see. Like, it's going to kind of look like, if you guys played for whoever's in the chat and played the video game for Jedi Fallen Order, right? Like when you saw that planet, right, with like you see the Death Star, like it's blown up, and you see Cal swimming in it. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And that to me was like, that was a cinematic scene. Like that's something I would like. I loved seeing, and he got to swim in it and everything. And even like in the Rise of Skywalker, right? Like you see that when it's Kylo and Rey. I actually like that scene. To me was a dope scene. And if they could give like things like that, like those kind of scenes in the show, then yeah, I definitely it's a win for me.
Yeah, I think it'll feel like a movie, and that's what's gonna win people over.
Yeah.
It won't feel like a show.
Yeah, I just wonder how long this is gonna go. I wonder how many more shows they're gonna do that are gonna be on Disney Plus, because they need to start going back to films. Like I'm so as much as I love Disney Plus, it's great, but I need to.
I'm over the shows. I'm over the shows, and that's like why Marvel, like, just has the upper hand, because they show that you can balance having shows and films, and that's why. With Star Wars, when they say, oh, well, this is their phase 1, it's like, but they don't have a phase, because to do that, they need to have multiple things come out in a year, not be like, oh, we'll have one thing come out like every year. It's like, no, look at Marvel has like 20 things in a year.
Yeah.
And they balance it great.
I mean, they just announced, what is it? The Avengers in 2025. They're gonna have like 2 fucking.
They have it all set up, and like it was a few months back. Like Kevin Feige will literally like fly everyone out to like a vacation where all they'll do for a month is just talk about like the next 10 years of Marvel. It's like Star Wars needs to do that, because that man, like, he has it planned out always, and they don't have a person like that at Star Wars. Like they really don't. Like Dave does stuff in the moment, but I mean, they need to plan it out so much better, especially balancing it with shows and films. I think
overall, I think he's great animation wise. I think he has a lot to prove though still in live action. Like Mando to me it's good, but I feel like I need to see him do more. And I think
he's a story writer. He's not a director.
Yeah, I need to see him do more. What?
He's not a director, and he's not like a business guy either.
No, for sure. I just need to see what more he can bring to the table. Like I don't want to see more Ahsoka. Like even Ahsoka, like I feel like she's starting to get played out a little bit, at least for me. And I want to see something different. I need to see what he can do. Like, oh wait, because if he's gonna be he's the creative director, whatever. He's the head honcho now, right? So I need to see what he can bring to the table in changing up Star Wars, because that's what it is, right? Like, that's who we go to now. We don't go to Kathleen Kennedy. Like, yeah, we go to her, whatever. We blame her when something big, but like, we look at for him for the creative part of it, to see what he can bring to the table in a sense of giving us something different, something fresh, something new. And I don't think he has that in him, to be honest. I think that's what Favreau's here for. Is I think that when the Mandalorian is done, I think that Favreau's going to come in and say, okay, this is what we have to do now to get away from the Skywalker saga officially, literally, and maybe at one point. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, though. I think that we're still like 5 to 6 years
give
out.
Favreau a film, be like, okay, you can direct, you have ideas, like, instead of a new character with a show, give us a film, give us a new trilogy, because I feel like it's going to take a movie to get us to the next step, like, not a show. I agree. It's just, I think it's going to take a trilogy specifically, not just one film. They got to give us a whole new era, but they need to find the director that can do that.
That's why like, I'm not even excited for Taika Waititi, because I know his is just a one and done. That's how like you said, we need a trilogy. Like, I need something post the sequel. Like, I don't even, like, give me another like 10 years out of the sequel trilogy, or even 30. And listen, if you want to use Rey as like the Luke Skywalker of that trilogy, fine. Like, I'm cool. I don't mind that at all, honestly. I really wouldn't mind that. But you have to give me something new, like completely new. Like I said, I don't mind it, just something different. I mean,
and then that can be your phase, because you can give us shows in between the films, but that have to do with the films. Like, it ties it all together, because they have a lot of shows that they want to create, but they don't tie in together. Like with Marvel, like, the shows will be about like just that character, but then like the post-credit scene in like the final episode connects to the next show that's coming, right? And then those are connecting to the movie that's going to come. Like, that's what Star Wars needs to be doing.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, you kind of said it better, but yeah, all right. I think we ran we definitely have had a lot to talk about today. I want to thank everybody for watching, who has watched, who hasn't watched. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Before we do head off, I'm gonna throw it to Insider. Let them know what you have coming up. And again, thank you so much for hopping on, dude. I know I sent it to you last second.
Man. Thanks for having me.
No, dude, thank you for hopping on. Go for it.
Yeah, you can find me on Star Wars Insider on YouTube, and you can find me on all Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Star Wars Insider, except for Twitter, it's SW Insider 66. So you can find me on all those platforms there. Go check them out because we got hype content coming out.
Woo! Reel it out. Please go subscribe to my man's channel. Definitely. And what you got, coming up?
Oh gosh. Well, nothing coming, but you can find me at mkenobi on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. That's basically it. Not a content creator, just a nerd.
And you can find her here on the Galactic Senate on Wednesdays or Thursdays. So she's a content creator because we're creating content right now. So you are a content creator, girl. And
I'm an opinion creator. I'll give you my opinions. I'm not going to give you anything cinematic though.
And you're one of the main hosts on this channel. So like for this, so there you go. You definitely have some, yeah. But thank you guys for again hopping on. I want to thank everybody who's watched and is watching. Please go subscribe to this channel. Go follow these wonderful people on their platforms. Again, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, they're amazing people. Again, thank you guys again for jumping on, and hope to see you guys soon. And go check out my new video coming out tomorrow, and go check out my video that's out now on everything that's talking about Finn today. I don't even remember it, but again, just go give it a thumbs up as you watch. Remember, the Eternal Sith, then, now, and forever. Later, guys. Horns up.